Sorry, not sorry. When forgiving takes courage. Hey guys, I'm Sarah. Thank you for stopping by. I'm an artist, entrepreneur, and Amazon bestselling author. Today, I want to share a couple thoughts I had on apologizing and what it means to me, as well as maybe hopefully can offer some insight and help you to find courage to forgive others. Forgiveness has been something I've studied for over 25 years, and I've learned it all the way from when I was a little girl, when my mom and dad used to fight all the time. And the other day, it kind of brought this to my attention because I saw a video from a guy that was on TikTok, and he basically had this attitude like, I'm not going to apologize to anyone for anything. I don't need to apologize to you. And just basically had this attitude that he was coming across as he didn't offend anybody, and if he did, he really didn't care. And it really made me think about how, gosh, to go through life and not apologize or not have any self-reflection over how you're treating the world and how that can mean that you're being rude and to never apologize to somebody. And then I thought, well, it can be the opposite too, where it can be the other extreme, where you're just apologizing for any and everything, and even things that you didn't do, and you're just doing it to appease others or to just be polite. And there's not really a lot of sincerity there. It's just like an afterthought. It's just a second word. And so again, I don't know. It's interesting how apologizing and even forgiving has affected me and just changed my life. Several years ago, I was in a situation where I was married to a man I didn't respect and had basically hit rock bottom. And I had hit rock bottom for a lot of different reasons, but all of them were my fault because I made bad choices. I was in a relationship previously with a person who was very abusive. I would go to their house, and there would be broken dishes all over the kitchen counter, and I was just scared. And I was just in the situation where I couldn't say no. And I don't know if you've ever been in a situation like that, or a relationship where you're in the middle of that abuse cycle and you just can't say no, even though you know logically that it's not a good situation and it's just hard to get out of, right? But I've had to learn to forgive myself for those decisions. And, forgiveness it's not just about those that offend you or you offending somebody else. It's also learning to forgive yourself too. And we all make mistakes in our life. We all have regrets, but going back and seeing what lessons we've learned from that. For those of you who know me, I'm a Christian. I've been a Christian for 25 years, and I apply a lot of those Christian values in my life. And there's a lot that the Bible talks about with forgiveness, where forgiving your brother from your heart, or if somebody offends you, go and show them their fault and have that conversation. If they continue, tell it to the church, right? If it's in a situation. But what if that person is in your home? What if that person is someone that you're married to, or your child? And what if that conflict arises and it's something where you really don't want a lot of people to know about because you have respect for that person, and you have respect for the relationship, and maybe you're in a situation that you're just unsure of, and you've been in a relationship for a long time and somebody's treating you horribly. And should you continue to put up with that, or maybe even consider separating in those situations to get yourself in a safe environment? And, again, really, it boils down to our reaction. How are we reacting to those who are treating us bad, right? And even a little bit further, like, how am I contributing to those who may be offending me, or who am I offending? Right? There's just a lot that we can consider. And one of the verses that I've gone to for many, many years is Proverbs chapter 15, verse 1, where it says, "A gentle answer turns away wrath, but a harsh word stirs up anger." And a lot of times we just get in the heat of the battle where we easily might get offended. We all of a sudden get angry and we storm off and they offended me and I have every right to be upset. Well, sure, but are you reacting out of love? Are you treating that person out of love? Are you treating yourself with love? Are you taking care of yourself and getting to the point where you're safe and you're protected? Or are you just putting up with that abuse? And again, keep in mind, like, we can love people from afar. We don't have to, just because they might be our immediate family, we don't have to continue to put ourselves in a situation that's going to be toxic. And again, it's their choice. We don't control anybody else's choice on what they do. We can only control our reaction. And again, if we react out of love, and if we look at that person and not from a selfish point of view, like, how am I being treated, or what is this doing to my reputation, or I keep giving so much of myself, but it's, you look at that person and try to have empathy and compassion on their point of view. Like, maybe when they were a child, they were in a horrible situation and maybe their parents fought all the time, or maybe it was high stress, or they were very, very poor, or whatever the situation. It's, try to have empathy for their situation and think of them as a human. And again, it's not always about just that reaction and that heated moment, and but it's about learning how to repair those situations and those relationships. And again, I have seen it firsthand in my life where, early on when I was a young person, I made mistakes. I didn't have my anger under control, and I got very upset easily, and maybe justifiably so. If somebody leaves me with $500 and rent is $550 and I don't have a car, and they just signed my lease to sign my name on a lease 2 weeks ago, yeah, I have every right to be upset, and that's not okay. But again, how can I handle that? How can I personally handle that situation so that I'm the better person, so that they can't come back and say, well, look at you, you got all upset and it's just all your fault. And then they do have ammunition, and then they do have a right to say, yeah, you did something wrong too. And because yes, that's true, right? So again, what responsibility do we have in a situation? How can we react out of love for the other person, and also out of love for ourselves and self-respect and dignity of handling a situation where you can be proud of, like, hey, I handled that okay. And again, it takes growth. Man, I'm in my mid 40s, and it has taken me years and years and years to really learn how to have that self-control, and to be able to respond out of love, and to just separate myself from situations that are toxic, even when it hurts, when it's like somebody in my immediate family, and or even just taking a couple minutes to get a walk and get a breath of fresh air, so that you're in a better mindset, you're in a better frame of mind. Now, it doesn't mean that you need to continue in relationships that are harmful to you, because that's not doing anybody any good, and that's not teaching that person who is in a pattern where they're abusing you and they're treating you wrong, because that only encourages that behavior. It's not showing them, it's showing them that it's okay to treat you that way. And I want to encourage you, like, please step away from those situations. Like, do not put yourself in harm. It's okay to step away. You have the strength. You have the strength to step away. If you've been putting up with this for that long, you are strong enough to get on your own. But you need to break away from toxic relationships. You need to break away from that control, and you need to find a support group who can love on you and who can encourage you through those dark times, because you are worth it. And yeah, it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard to step away, but what is better in the long run? Do you want to be thinking, oh gosh, I should have left that person 5 years ago, and then it's 5 years in the future, and then you come up with the excuse that, where are you now? And it's just, so take the courage to forgive. But just because you leave and get out of that environment doesn't mean that you're quitting. It doesn't mean that you're failing that yourself. It's okay. And also, forgiveness means freedom. Let me say that again. Forgiveness means freedom. When you choose to forgive that person, you are actually really giving freedom to yourself. It doesn't mean that you say that that act is okay. It doesn't mean that it's okay to be treated that way, but it's actually giving yourself freedom. And it's like people, they get in their late, they get in their mid lifetime and they've had all these offenses and all this, oh, this person when I was in 4th grade, they did such and such to me and I will never forgive them. And yeah, okay, you might have the right to be upset because they did something horrible to you. Yeah, you have every right to be upset, but why hold a grudge? What is that doing? Is that helping the person? Is that helping you to just sit back and say, yep, I'm holding a grudge because I didn't have anything to do wrong for them? And that is, guys, that is not a good attitude to have. You need to release that and just give them that love. And gosh, you guys, I am not sitting here saying that I am not offended people. I look back over the last 10, 15, 20 years, and I think about the different situations I've been in and how I could have handled it differently. And, at work and in my home life and in my family and with my children. And it's like, I am sorry. I feel horrible for sometimes the way I reacted, or I even had perceptions of different things that were going on. And we get in those situations that it's like fight or flight. And a lot of times when we're in those stressful environments, it's like we're fighting, right? Or we're fighting and we're fleeing and we're running away. And we think that we're in the survival mode and we're just trying to really survive the situation. And we can act out and say things that are wrong or do things that are terrible. And it's like, I can think of different situations that I've done things where I just can't believe I reacted that way. And I'm sorry. But I can't take that back. I can only use that as a lesson to change and to learn and to grow and to try to respond better in the future in my relationships. And if given the opportunity to do those things differently, do them differently in the future. And that's all we can do is we can learn from those mistakes, right? But forgiveness is freeing. And sometimes people say, I'm sorry. And it's like, I'm just sorry that you're going through that situation. It's not, I'm sorry because I own that, but it's like, I'm sorry that you have to deal with that. And it's terrible. Or, where maybe I'm sorry could be used in a way to kind of soften the blow in a situation that, like, I'm sorry I wrecked the car today. Hopefully that doesn't happen. Or I'm sorry that such and such happened. And it can kind of help lessen the blow when you approach it in a gentle way. Like I said, Proverbs chapter 15, verse 1, a gentle answer turns away wrath, but a harsh word stirs up anger. And think about that when you're in the heat of a battle, or when somebody's hurt and they're coming from a place of pain. Do you react with harshness? Do you react with, well, why are you coming and talking to me like that? That's only going to add fuel to the fire. And really, it's like, how can you help diffuse? How can you show love? How can you show mercy? Like you might have been shown mercy in the past, or how would you like to have been shown mercy? There's just a lot we can learn about forgiveness, a lot that I've learned, and I hope that some of these words can encourage you today. If you want to help support me, join my community. I've got links to, I'd love to have you join my Facebook community. I sell art. If you want to help support me in any of those ways or reach out to me and connect, please do so. Sending you lots of love. Thank you.